Oh my goodness, we already started. Hey everybody, it's DJ Studs here with Little Hearts Academy, USA, and Imperfect Heroes Podcast. And it's 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. And where else would I be but here with you? DJ Studs, oh, I already said that. Oh, such a day, such a day. All right. Today we have some great things to talk about with music and education and things that I feel very, very strongly about. But before we get going, I just want to give you an invitation. If you're listening to this and you're not part of my email list and you're getting the newsletter, you only get things once a week and sometimes not even that. But you get to stay up on all of the things that are coming up, the adventures that I have. I've got um, challenges that are coming, open workshops. There are places to ask questions. It's just a fun thing to get. You're part of the community. If you're not already part of this, then I challenge you. Let me see if that's still going to get my eyes there. I'm going to challenge you to go ahead and sign up and be a part of that. And so that's going to be down in the show notes. It'll have a link, and you can just go right there and you register. It costs nothing, but it helps you to stay more informed and to get more information about how to understand and raise our kids and help them to be the best them that they can be. So, so much fun, so much fun. So, anyway, here we go. So, this week's episode is, can you believe it? We are up to episode 114. Whew, that just seems so crazy to me. And so, but we're there. And how exciting is that? And it's called The Magic of Music and Mavericks. And the reason that I talked about this, I've got my guest, his name is Bryson Tarbet, and he is that music teacher. You can find podcast, and he talks mostly to other music teachers on his podcast. But you can listen in if you're a parent and get some ideas on how music affects your child's education. And things that work in school are gonna work at home. And things that don't work at school probably won't work at home. But music works. I've seen it, I've used it, I've watched it happen. And it's an amazing thing to see how kids will learn and then retain knowledge more strongly if they've learned it through music than if they haven't. So it's really a cool episode. So let me talk to you just a little bit about, the episode. So we talked about there's a ton of science that goes into um, helping us understand how music actually engages the brain. It changes how the brain is connecting with other pieces, and memory really works. It does all kinds of things though too, not just memory. It works with calming people down, invigorating them, getting them excited, right? It can help us to see the world in a different way. And how many of you have had just a bad day? You're in a bad mood, right? Just the right song comes on the radio or whatever it is you're listening to, and it's just the right song. It's like, oh, I love that song. And you're singing it and humming along, and your mood improves. It's an amazing thing. Well, we also see connections with how it helps kids with just super active. They're right? And what kid in early childhood isn't super active? So we can talk about neurodiversity and we can talk about ADHD and all these other things. But the reality is that just natural kids respond to the same things that work with kids who have, other needs. We may need to intensify it a little more with kids with special needs, but the same basic premise works with basically, well, not every child, but almost every child, overwhelmingly that many more kids. And so if you really want to learn about things and ideas that you can do, and your child isn't special needs, go ahead and listen to podcasts and some of my old episodes, even, yay, on special needs, because those basic premises, I promise, are going to work for your kids, as will music. And so that's something that's really interesting. And the thing about music is it helps us whether you're two, actually we say 2 to 92, but actually prenatally, while they're in the womb, they react to the music that's listed, that is being heard around them. Tons of studies done on this, and they've talked about, the value of classical music, right? And of, hip hop, joyous music, and the effects of angry music, music that has loud, strong beats, you know, um, that can affect growth and development within the womb. So, something to think about. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about our guest today so that you know who we are dealing with. So, his name is Bryson Tarbet, and he teaches music in pre-K through sixth grade at his elementary school. And his school is just outside Columbus, Ohio. Hey! So, if you are in Columbus, Ohio, you might be able to find him and get some advice from him. So he's got a bachelor's of music in music education. He also has a master's of music in music education, and he also has That Music Teacher LLC. So again, if you want to find out more and get some information, you can always look him up. That Music Teacher, LLC, and you can find him. So he's also got That Music Podcast. That's where I got the That Music just part, but it's called That Music Podcast. And it's a podcast for elementary school teachers. But like I said, if it works in school, it's going to work at home. And if it doesn't work at school, it probably won't work at home. So getting into some of these teacher podcasts, these teacher sites, are really going to help you. One site, ooh, little squirrel thing over here. But if you go to some of the teacher, they'll do teacher lesson plans and teacher activities and all of those things. You can get some ideas and crafts and learning experiences and all of those things that you can use and download. And most of them you don't have to be a teacher to download and do that. So something really interesting to pay attention to and to maybe give it a try. Okay, so one of the things that we talked about is that music education in school, all the way through, really. But he teaches elementary, and we focus on birth to 8 because we focus on early childhood. So music is not just there for music's sake. It's not something that, they send them to the music class so that the teacher can have her planning period, right? It is actually so terribly valuable, and there's so much research and anecdotal evidence of how music supports a child's learning and adults learning. And in fact, the evidence that's out there is just massive. There's so much that's out there that helps us understand. And I even talked about this on the podcast, but how my mom died in January of 2017, and she had Alzheimer's. And, we just kind of lost her. And, but someone was there from the family. We got to a point where we had to put her in a home because her medications were getting too much for us to manage. She had just a ton of them. And then she started wandering at night. Scary. So we had to put her at home, but we made sure someone was there every day to see her. Well, mom loved Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond was her guy, right? And especially her favorite song was that Hello, My Friends, Hello. And it was interesting how we could go there. We made sure that we had a little, a stereo system in her room, and she had Neil Diamond CDs that she could listen to. What was interesting is that when we would get there and we'd try to talk to her, whatever, and she'd be in and out and say things, weird things, and it's Alzheimer's, right? But when we would put on that song, especially, particularly, Hello, My Friends, Hello, she would come out of her fog. She would sing, she had a beautiful singing voice. She would belt that thing out, and then when the song was over, you'd see her fade to black. But music is what brought her out, and there's so much study that has been done with from, like I said, prenatal, the effects of music, even before they're born, on into Alzheimer's pre-death, as as old as you're going to get, right? Okay, so there's just a ton of that. And so we also talked about how music helps children and students understand what's coming next. And you can use music to sing and say, you can have your morning routine, put it to some tunes. There are some tunes that are out there. You've heard me talk before about, or I think I've talked about it on here, um, but it's Go Fish is the name of the group, and there's a song called Party Like a Preschooler. And they even have a song about put your jammies on, and it's just about the routine of going to bed. You wash your face, you brush your teeth, you say your prayers, and you go to sleep, right? And so you can have songs that are out there that'll help you with your routines that kids can sing along with, and understand what is coming next. Music actually will remove the anxiety in all kinds of situations. And so previously oh gosh, it's in the 30s, I think. Craig Parks. I had an episode with Craig Parks, and he actually wrote a song called the No Song, and he sings it on that. But he had a little girl who would just say no to everything. No, 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 right? And she was like 2, 3 years old. And he wrote this song. And so then it was really cute. You'll have to listen to that episode, but it was things like your favorite instrument is the piano. And then she learned to say, no, piano. Your favorite mountain is the volcano. No. And it took all the tension out of that no situation, that defiance. And in fact, sometimes she would just say no to get her daddy to sing with her. And then they'd sing the song and off they'd go to do whatever it was they needed to do. And so, really, music can really bring down the anxiety levels and the stress levels and the defiance, all of those things. And it can also increase those things as well. So pay attention to the music that you're using with your kiddos. It also helps them to have a, a lateral level of thinking. So you're not just thinking about, say, math or ABCs, right? We got the song. How many times did I have parents come in and say, oh, my child knows their ABCs, right? No, they could sing a song. They didn't know what an A was. They didn't know what a B was. Sang the song really well. But now we could take that song, though, and use it as we introduce these letters. And they could start recognizing letters. So that's all very interesting on how you use that to push it further than just the song. But it works like that with everything. It's amazing. Science. There are songs out there that help people remember the periodic table. I used a song to help me remember all of the books of the Old Testament. I can sing it. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. Yeah, there's a song. And there's a song that I use to help me remember all of those books of the New Testament. And little kids can learn it. I've seen kids as young as 5, 6 years old sing that song. And that, wow, what kind of scriptural knowledge does this kid have? Well, they know a song, right? But they know and connect those to the Bible. And so there's all kinds of things that you can learn to remember through song, right? And there was even like, I had a song and it was a little video, subtraction with a pirate, adding with a pirate. Those are songs and they have little movements that go with them. And my kids, my kindergarten kids, were learning how to add and subtract because they could sing the song. That would help them manage the process of whether I'm going up, whether I'm going down, how far am I going down. It's a great opportunity. So if you're interested in finding out more things about how to teach your kids at home through song, because honest parents, you're going to hear me say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. School is a support for parents, not the other way around. It is our responsibility to make sure that our kids are where they need to be with their education. We can't count on the schools to get everything in. They're not going to learn their. We're at an all-time low right now in our nation of high school graduates that don't understand history. We are at an all-time low with history. We're at a 30-year low with math and reading. Um, and these are with high school graduates. So we're going to want to make sure that we are taking charge and making sure that they are getting the information that they need to, be successful in business. Yes, history helps with understanding what worked before, what didn't work. What are some things that we need to look out for because it's happened before. Now, technology might be something different, but how we respond to changes in technology. When the cotton gin was developed, what were the problems then? What was the reluctance of some people to even try it, right? And we can learn from those things and then promote them into our own lives and into our children's lives. So that's always kind of interesting. Music also gives interpersonal skills as we are helping them. They're singing in a choir, right? I just saw a video today. I'll have to see if I can find it. It's only about 3 minutes long, 3 or 4 minutes long, but it was a fundraiser for um, music back in the East, and it showed all of these people from they look like maybe in their 80s to elementary age, and they were all working together and collaborating in playing this song for the audience, and it was amazing. Look, I've got goosebumps even just thinking about it, but it's a collaboration of people working together, whether it's an orchestra, a band. My son was in a band that and even my older son learned to play the guitar and enjoyed playing through college, with his friends, and of course it made them cool at the parties. But they were collaborating with other people. If whether it's music in a choir or in a band or just playing the recorder with your class together, getting together to do a little thing for our parents, and have them come and yay, they're doing great things, right? All of these things help us build community, understanding how to work together. So maybe not everyone's going to play the violin. Someone's going to play the drums, and someone's going to play the clarinet, and someone's going to play the flute, and someone might play the guitar, whatever it is, piano, whatever it is. But we all can come together with these differences, with these different talents, and make something like amazing, right? And so you want to help teach your kids about diversity and about differences and how it's important to have people who think differently and who are accomplishing things in a different way than you are, and we can still all come together and make this world something beautiful, right? I truly believe in that, and music is the way to teach them, is a way, not the way, but it's a big way to teach them that. And so it's so magical to see just how music has a difference on the physical effects of our kids. The way they stand, the way they sit, the way they pay attention, the way they're able to concentrate, And some kids with sensory issues, maybe they're on the spectrum somewhere, you will find that certain musics they will be drawn to, and other kinds of music they will pull away from. You're going to learn a lot about what are their choices, what are their preferences, what are all the things that are important to them through experimenting with music. So I hope that you listen to the podcast. It's amazing. It's so much fun. And so I'll put the link in the show notes. Here I am doing podcast talk in the comments. It'll be probably a minute because I've got to zip over to Instagram and do one there. If you want to see us on Instagram, I do these at 7:30 every Tuesday night, and it's on the at Imperfect Heroes podcast. Easy to find. Same thing as Facebook, Imperfect Heroes podcast. So there we are. All right, everyone. Next week, we're getting a little woo-woo with a friend of mine who her name is Adele Bernard, and we're talking about a lot of things, but we're talking about a lot of the transitions that kids and parents make as they grow And then we're also talking about just how to pay attention and to pick up on the feelings and um, the emotions that people are sending out there. How do we pick up on that? And, and is it okay if someone's not ready to listen to you? Right? Now, with kids, sometimes they have to listen to you, right? But pay attention. Maybe I'm saying it in the wrong way. Maybe I need to support them in a different way. And then in our adult relationships, absolutely. Maybe someone's just not quite ready. So it's okay. I'm still your friend. And when we're ready, we can talk. But until then, I love you, right? And so we're having a great conversation next week. So I hope you'll listen to that. Her name's Adele Bernard. All right. So I hope you'll come back next week. Tell a friend about us. Sign up for the newsletter. And I'll see you next week. And until then, let's find joy in parenting. Bye, guys.